We've seen all types of fights on 90 Day Fiancé, and we've seen a lot of makeups. And I think this one takes the cake for the audacity, the shamelessness. We need to talk about it. Hi guys, welcome back to Nikki Faces Reality. We're here to discuss Manuel and Ashley and their not safe for work segment on the latest episode of 90 Day Fiancé. I haven't covered these two in a few weeks because they've kind of had the same fight over and over again. They're speaking different languages of love. I mean, Ashley speaks great Spanish. She's able to defend herself, but she's doing a lot of defending. They're getting into a lot of fights, mostly about money. The last time I covered them, they had that really nice moment at the beach. I thought that they were really, turning the page, going to the next step of their relationship, that they finally found some common ground in the money conversation. Well, they haven't. For the most part, it's just been a lot of one-on-one time. And Ashley, being the intuitive person that she is, she decides to surprise Manuel with his best friend. Apparently, his childhood best friend lives in New York, and so she got him to come over and to spend time with them. It doesn't take long for Manuel to fully express his grievances about Ashley to his friend. His friend, who has been in America for some time now, is kind of, playing the middleman. He's not doing too much to step on anyone's toes. Of course, the first thing that comes out of Manuel is about money, and the friend is like, life here isn't like it is in Ecuador. Like, you can make a little extra to splurge on yourself. And Manuel kind of dismisses him. But Ashley's like, you know what? Let's get out of the house. Let's explore Rochester. And so they do. Should mention before I get to the craziness of this episode is that we did see a segment of Manuel having a one-on-one with his best friend. And his best friend was like, are you ready to get married? And Manuel is like, I don't think I'm ever ready, but I do love her. Then he mentions that he feels that she thinks mostly about herself and he's thinking about like all the people that come with his package. And she's aware of that, but she's taking care of you and she has to take care of herself. And she's planning a wedding, so I understand that he probably feels this heaviness of guilt. I don't think that it's fair that he's throwing this entire responsibility on Ashley and then resenting her when she makes purchases that have nothing to do with his family. Because that is what we've been seeing. And it continues, even in front of his friend. If anything, I feel that he feels empowered by having the presence of his friend. And he thinks that maybe that his friend is going to back him up. His friend is a smart man and does not. Which brings us to the point of this video. They're going to a cafe. Things are very tense between Ashley and Manuel. Because of course they get into the conversation again about money. And the friend is like, it's okay. Like, all the things that you're saying that she's spending money on, it's okay to treat yourself. The friend was being, what's the term? Triangulated. He was definitely being placed in the middle and he was being really careful. And Ashley's like, I get really frustrated when we get into these conversations. One, because I don't feel like he's listening. Two, because it's the things that I had mentioned before. He came to America with a backpack. So on top of taking care of all of the K-1 visa process without anyone's help, Ashley had to clothe him fully. She has to take care of their life, their livelihood, their bills, take care of him. And they're planning a wedding. So what she's told him, and he's upset by this, what she's told him is, your family, we've helped them to the extent that we can help them right now. But right now we're planning a wedding. We will send them more money after we're done with the wedding. Manuel is fully calling this woman selfish. And this struck a nerve with Ashley. Because she's like, how dare you call me selfish when I've done so much? I've given you everything I have. And it's not enough? Like, that is a problem. And so she walks off. And he's like, yeah, walk off, like, oh, like treating it like she's having a meltdown, but she's upset, and I think rightfully so. But at the same time, you guys, and you could tell me what you think, I'm like, Ashley, girl, talk to the gods, talk to the goddesses, talk to your spiritual warriors. We're forcing him to accept things that he doesn't want to accept. He doesn't even want to understand your side. I'm just like, can you build a life with someone that is so unwilling to evolve, unwilling to grow with you, unwilling to grow beyond the life that they've had? And again, with Manuel, I understand, like, I come from an immigrant family. I definitely understand, like, the need to help people. And I understand that with his particular situation, it sounds like he was the sole breadwinner. Of course, Ashley should help him as his future wife. But I think it's unfair to expect her to take a, that full load. I'm sorry, I just don't, and you guys again could tell me what you think in the comments respectfully. The K1 visa is not a process that is approved from one day to another. There's months, sometimes years before you get approved. And he knew that he was in the middle of that process, meaning he had years to prepare. He had years to make sure that he had dotted his I's and crossed his T's back home, because when he got to America, he's not going to be able to work for some time. I just think it's unfair that he thinks that Ashley can afford her, him, and his whole village. Like, it's unreasonable. And her buying a coffee here and there is not going to make a dent into the huge undertaking that he wants her to do. It's unfair. Also, I have a problem with people counting other people's money. So anyway, they have this blowout moment. Ashley walks off. She goes to the bathroom. She's there for some time. Manuel is like saying things, and I don't know if he expects his friend to like back him up, but the friend is not. Eventually, Ashley comes back, and he's like, "Oh, you went to the bathroom?" And she's like, "Yes, I went to the bathroom." He acts like they weren't just in the middle of a fight. It's very strange. Oh, I do have to say that Manuel repeated something in this moment when she was in the bathroom that I was like, "Are you okay?" Keeps saying to his friend, "Yeah, I think that it's good to fight now so we don't fight later." It sounds like he enjoys antagonizing her. Every time she's upset and crying, he's like laughing and dismissing it. Problematic. Two, you guys fight and find no resolution. So I'm sorry to let you know, but you're going to keep fighting about this later. It just doesn't go away because you're married. I thought that was very strange. Anyway, Ashley comes back and she's annoyed, obviously, and she's like, "Yeah, we're all going. We're going. I'm going to drop you off at the airport. Actually, I'm going to drop your friend off at the airport. You can come if you want, or you can stay here." And he's like, "You know what? I'm going to stay. I think I'm going to stay. That's better." So they walk out outside, and Manuel is outside, even though he said he was going to stay. And so as she's walking away, he's like throwing jabs, being like, "Yeah, that's what you do, so dramatic," and just again antagonizing her. And she's crying. She's like, "I'm upset because what you said was hurtful to me." And he's like, and so Manuel is like, "It's all in your head." And she's like, "No, it's not in my head. It's what I'm feeling because of what you're doing. You're not understanding me." And Manuel is convinced that she's not understanding him. That isn't what we've seen. They have a lot of issues, but her not understanding him is not the issue. He's upset because he's not getting his way right away. And so he's being mean to her. And his friend is flat out being like, "Okay, like just apologize, just apologize." He's like, No. Just refuses. And so I guess Ashley and the friend walk off and Manuel goes after them. And so then all of a sudden, he's hugging her. It was the weirdest thing. I don't know if it was the way it was edited, but it felt like a moment was missed. Because all of a sudden, he's hugging her and then apologizes. It literally went from 100 to 0. Like, how did you guys de-escalate that fast? And so the friend is idly like around. And then all of a sudden, Ashley's like, come with me. So they go inside, and I'm like, okay, maybe she just wants something private. Maybe she wants a third coffee. Like, okay. And the friend is just lingering around, like, okay, like, I guess, I mean, you are my ride. All of a sudden, y'all, we see these two go into the bathroom with mics. And yes, they get it in. Mind you, this cafe is packed. It is busy. And they are occupying a bathroom. The camera crew is outside of the bathroom. Mics are still on. And you hear the panting. You hear the moaning. You hear the breaths. And I was just like,
Se siente incómodo.
how did we get here? They come out. Ashley has an interview outside. And the producer's like, so what were you guys doing there? And she's like, oh, I had to use the bathroom and he just accompanied me. And she's like laughing through it. Ashley came out of the bathroom. Her walk was different. She was like, okay, yeah, let's go. Just like chipper when she was just like Eeyore 10 minutes ago. It was the wildest thing because I don't even think it was so wild. And I mean, we've seen Jasmine and Gino get it in. And for me, this was wilder just because there was no chill. It just went like they were just arguing and then it was like a light switch. And Ashley's like, yeah, sex doesn't fix everything, but. And I'm like, girl, you guys use sex like a band aid. And still, you guys, they found no resolution. They haven't talked about it. They go home, she's giving him crystals, she's doing a cleanse. But, babe, the negative energy is still in your house. You having quickies around town isn't gonna fix the big issue. And the thing about it, you guys, I would love to know what you think about these two. Do you think they're gonna make it? Because I feel like Ashley is so determined to make this work that she will marry him. That's my theory. I think these two are gonna get married. And I don't get Manuel. Like, that, he has such a punchable face. Do you, every time he grins while she's fully crying, and I know that Ashley is very dramatic. I know that Ashley has a lot of nervous energy. I know that she has the ability to make things into a big deal, but in these moments that she has had these meltdowns with him, I feel like her emotions are not misplaced. I think that she feels hurt. I do think that she feels like her partner's not listening, that he's kind of like berating her. I think that all of those things are happening. And so when she is upset, like, I'm like, yeah, that's earned. You are upset and he did that to you. It's almost like he has a grin on his face, almost like he's proud of himself. And it's so upsetting. But then I'm also like, is he grinning because they're doing it up for the cameras and he's like, doesn't really know? I don't know. But I do think that these two are going to get married because they're just as crazy. Different kind of crazy, but just same level. Because I just don't understand how they went from that fight to hooking up. Like, is this some kind of kink? I can't wait to hear what you guys think about this in the comments. Let me know. Please do like this video because it'll really help me. Subscribe if you haven't. If this is your first video in my channel, I make recaps and commentary and all that good stuff on 90 Day Fiancé and other reality TV shows. If that's your thing, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I will see you guys in the next one.